we hear a joint statement by Ryan Rowe, Reverse the Trend, Save Our People, Save Our Planet, and Harris Agha, Nuclear Aids Peace Foundation. You have the floor, please.
Thank you. Chair, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, we thank you for the opportunity to speak today on behalf of our fellow youth activists and advocates from around the world. Born into a post-Cold War global order, our generation was seemingly predestined to come of age in an era of decreased nuclear tensions, in which such weapons would no longer seem necessary. But the haunting specter of war and conflict has brought the ghosts of a darker past back to the fore. The Federation of American Scientists reports that nuclear arsenals are on the rise. Missiles have been moved into Belarus, and a nuclear submarine has been stationed in South Korea for the first time since the Cold War. The safer, healthier world promised by international agreements, such as the Non-Proliferation Treaty, have seemingly vanished. And thus, we, as the next generation of disarmament activists, have now taken up the fight for our future. Distinguished delegates, we urge all states to sign the Treaty on the Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons, and that all in attendance consider what legacy they desire to pass on to the youth who are already burdened with the critical threats of climate change, gender inequality, and increasing geopolitical tensions. We ask that you consider whether the continued existence of humanity-endangering weapons will ensure that the world left for future generations is a better one. These steps are not easy, but are a necessity if we desire to continue on the long arc to peace and prosperity. At the same time, we also bear witness to the scars of past crimes committed in the name of security. We emphasize and speak in unison with victims and affected communities in calling for nuclear weapon states to adhere to their Article 6 obligations outlined in the NPT, and in advocating for reparations to those directly impacted in all steps of the development and deployment process. We hear their stories and urge those in attendance to do the same. Distinguished delegates, we do not stand here with malice towards the states who have not signed the TPNW. We imagine a world without nuclear weapons, a world where we need not be frightened of those few who are capable of annihilating millions of lives with weapons of mass destruction, leaving severe environmental degradation in their wake. But disappointingly, we reside in fear of a world whose society is left to ruin because geopolitical tensions and pride leads to nuclear war against the interests and safety of the global community.
To the honorable delegates of states who have signed on to both the NPT and the TPNW, we applaud you, but our work is not yet complete. The NPT is only a stepping stone on the path to a nuclear weapons-free future. The TPNW has only been ratified in 68 states with 27 signatories. This is not enough. We call upon the 27 current signatories to ratify the treaty. To each state that has not signed on to the TPNW, we call upon you to follow the path of the 68 states who have carved the way in ratifying the treaty and join us in ensuring a safer, more stable global order. Nuclear deterrence has proven repeatedly to only be an excuse for the continued maintenance of these weapons in the name of national security. It is time we took the notion of nuclear disarmament seriously. There must be concrete actions by the 9 states with nuclear weapons to dismantle these weapons of mass destruction. It is not enough to solely reduce stockpiles. States must decouple from the nuclear weapons complex and seize technological advancement to improve their nuclear capabilities, not just in a few months or years, but immediately if we are to ensure a safer planet. As youth striving for a world free of nuclear weapons, we request the states parties take the following actions. Fulfill the legal obligation of nuclear disarmament bound by Article 6 of the NPT by taking concrete actions to reduce the current highest risk of nuclear weapons use, promote the discussion with regard to the complementarity between the NPT and the TPNW and national governments to further the obligation of nuclear disarmament, recognize the humanitarian impacts and environmental harms caused by nuclear weapons, provide resources and tangible support for communities affected by nuclear weapons activities, foster an environment in which discussions about nuclear disarmament involve youth from all regions, reducing nuclear weapons states' ability to control the narrative, encouraging global participation in the total elimination of nuclear weapons, ensure the participation of youth in all of the decision-making processes to reflect youth voices in nuclear policies of states' parties, reduce military spending on nuclear arms and development, and reallocate the resources to other means, such as peace building, and finally, relate with the United Nations Security Council Resolution 2250 on youth, peace, and security to strengthen the idea of peace and disarmament from the youth angle. Distinguished delegates, the status quo is unacceptable. A world with nuclear weaponry is a world that will always be at risk of self-destruction. Each of us have a choice as we listen to a myriad of speeches. Will we listen to survivors of nuclear catastrophes, the evidence laid in front of us time and time again? Will we act? Or will we turn our back and allow the security of 9 states to pose a threat to global stability? No matter where you're from, what you do, or what you look like, the destruction nuclear bombs leave in their wake does not discriminate. It is imperative that we recommit ourselves to the lessons of past mistakes, listen to the voices of victims, and take compensatory steps to ease their pain. Lastly, it is critical that we rally together to utilize the NPT as a stepping stone to the TPNW, unless we desire to again play nuclear roulette with the safety of ourselves, our planet, and our future. Thank you.